Hey fellow Vault Dwellers, it's Angry Turtle, and yes, it is time for updated build of a Heavy Gunner, or if you like to call it, a Bullet Storm build, as Heavy Gunner perks have been renamed, and the strongest Heavy Gun as of today, Gauss Minigun, so that will be our main. However, it is hard to feed it, and some secondary gun for daily driving would be recommended. First, this is a distribution of the special before application of legendary perks. And here are our legendary perks. The most important are boosting special, endurance, agility, luck, and intelligence. Next, taking one for the team to increase our damage. And last one, I call it swappable. Whatever you like can be equipped under this slot. At this moment, I am trying electric absorption. Is it necessary? No, nothing is necessary on this slot. You can put whatever you like. The last slot is free to choose from. If you are not yet endgame, do not have all those legendary perks, you will need to do compromises, even more than I did, as I already went on multiple compromises putting this build together. The choice. Choices is the theme of this update in Season 22. You cannot have everything that's the best. Just because there is so much that can be considered the best under perk cards that you need to make choices. I will explain what choices I did and why. So first, under strength, of course, all stuff related to Bullet Storm. So that's the Bring the Big Guns, Bullet Storm itself, and Lock and Load. All three perk cards are needed to have full benefit of Bullet Storm. Then I went for Tightly Wound, so my Gauss minigun can start firing faster. In practice, what does it mean? Normally, you need 2 seconds of holding the fire button to start firing. With this perk card, just under a second and it will start firing. Quite noticeable difference. Easy target, huge damage increase as soon as first limb of the target is crippled, which usually happening very early. And lastly, a little bit of extra carry weight. Yes, heavy guns are extremely heavy. With this update, even heavier than before. So that's a must-have for me. A lot of other stuff is awesome here that I was not able to include, as 15 is the cap. So I cannot add any more. So you can tell there is a lot more awesome perks, more carry weight, more tankiness like Blocker, Barbarian, and so on. More limb damage related perks and crippling perks that there is no room for. Under perception, so perception 15 on a heavy gunner, unheard of before. Now it is a thing. So many good perks for heavy gunner under perception. Number cruncher increases our damage, and if you need to skip something, I would say from damage perks this one is the first to go. As in case of the Gauss Mini, that's the increase between 22 and like 36% depend on Gauss Minigun mods. Then Tormentor for extra damage when the target limbs are crippled. That's helping with bosses. That's the second one to go if you need to cut down on perception. Then Tankilla, this one must stay. That's 40% armor piercing. Santa Masochist, very handy if you don't want to use VATS, or if you are fighting the Guardian in the raid. So Santa Masochist for those case scenarios, very handy. You may let it go, but it's not recommended. Concentrated Fire, if you consider using VATS at all, that's a must-have with recent update. I would never skip that unless you completely skip the VATS, which is valid. You can use Gauss Minigun and other heavy weapons without VATS if you need to save on points. And if you are low level, I would say go for it. Absolutely kick out everything related to VATS if you are running heavy guns at level, let's say, 100. Awareness, again for VATS. With recent changes to VATS accuracy, I consider it must-have when you are running VATS. Then, endurance. So our tankiness, we strip it to the minimum. Only the most powerful one. Life Giver, Ironclad, Natural Resistance, Thirst Quencher, this is to stay longer in VATS, Fireproof, and Star Genes to keep our mutations as we are human. So yeah, Star Genes required. About Charisma, only 3 points. I wanted to do more, but end up with Strange in Numbers and Tenderizer. What I really wanted is EMT, but after a testing on the livestream, I don't know what happened. Earlier on, when I was testing it on the public test server, it was working great. When I tried that today, revives were not happening most of the time when I was running with Gauss minigun. So because of that, I needed to give up on this idea. However awesome it's supposed to be, you will just die regardless. With all the revive perks included, they will not work. They will not save you. They bugged. After that, intelligence. I reduced it as much as I could as I ran out of points. So I was stripping out intelligence. Higher intelligence would be awesome. If you want to move something from perception to intelligence, it's an option. Creativity is your friend with this patch. You can absolutely customize this build to your preference. I do run Nerd Rage. Just to mention it in here, the stat look bug is still present. Like at this moment, I didn't hit a tiny Brahmin milk to reduce a little bit of my radiation, so I reduced more with a Radaway, so now I'm like half health. But in the same time, Nether is stuck at 67% bonus damage, which I should have it at around 10% health. So stat lock is still present. I did extensive video about it like a couple months ago. It's still up to date. Unfortunately, that was not fixed with this patch. It's still present. You need to be aware of that and plan for it, because it's here if we like it or not. The bug, aka feature in Bethesda books, is here. Stabilized for heavy gun accuracy, that's for outside of VATS usage, making Gauss minigun super accurate, especially if you choose a single barrel. We'll talk about the weapon a little bit more in a second. Demolition expert, because Gauss mini is explosive, so more damage. Batch is included as its ammo is very heavy, and you may notice no science, as I did additional testing and it happened that Prime is the strongest option for Gauss mini, and not Tesla capacitors. Unfortunately, the numbers lie once more. So the numbers on the weapon lie, and Prime showing less is doing more. Then agility. Strip basically two essential damage boosters like Gunslinger, full onslaught effect, and adrenaline. Nothing else, not even a born survival. I notice I can play without it. I'm just manually spamming stim packs inside the raid, and outside of the raid, I'm not really taking much damage. I'm super tanky in power armor. And then luck. Grim Reaper Sprint works quite well, helping me with my action point regeneration after each kill. Oh, worth to mention here, you may notice Grim Reaper Sprint, but not Gunfu. Why wouldn't you add Gunfu? That's another buggy one with this update. Quite often do not switch the target as it's supposed to be, therefore it's a lottery. It either switches the target or does not. So I don't like lottery. I decided not to use Gunfu at all. So there are reasons, like explaining a little bit of reasons behind the perk choices. So it's not just random. I'm not assigning perks randomly. I run with them and I make choices. You may agree or disagree with the choices, but there is a reason behind them. That one thing I can tell you. There are reasons. Better criticals is we are using criticals for me. Most case scenario, I'm doing crits every third shot. I do have power armor set allowing me to crit every second shot, but most of the time, every third shot. So only one rank of better criticals. Maxing it out with critting every third shot would be a waste for me. Scrounger. Must have with Gauss mini. Ammo is so hard to get. Any increase helps. One gun army, that helps to cripple faster, especially helpful when you need to take down the Guardian, but as well on daily basis, like fighting Scourge Beasts or regular bosses. As soon as I cripple single limb, easy target kick in and I do more damage. Ricochet for tankiness a little bit, and some extra reflected bullets do damage to enemies, and it will take down the shield of the Guardian, so I don't need to switch the loadout if I do entire raid. 4-Rift Clover, so I can hit far away, as my miss will recharge the critical, and then it will be a hit. Crit Savvy, that's still a must, even if you want to crit every third shot. Without it, it will be crit every 6th shot, that's not enough. And Junk Shield for some extra tankiness. You could consider using something else, but there is really good value out of a Junk Shield, and especially now that we can lock stuff, even more value as you don't accidentally get rid of your junk. I can show you my junk tab. And I do have 100 total junk for full bonus. And full bonus of the junk shield with my amount of luck is 114 damage resistance and energy resistance. Now about mutations, I do have more than is actually required. So what are the good ones for this build? If you are not switching builds, I just have all the mutations that are overall useful for me in any case scenario. So good for this build: Adrenal Reaction, Bare Bones, Carnivore, Eagle Eyes, Herd Mentality, Marsupial, Scaly Skin, Speed Demon, and that's it. The ones that I did not read are not really for this build. Those are when I switch build to something else, like that's a melee mutation. I do have both Herbivore and Carnivore as I'm a Megavore, but only Carnivore is really what I'm using on this build. And Egghead was for farming experience. Can consider that if you want experience. Chameleon have no side effects, so I just always have it, because why not? Just one more mutation on the list for no good reason. No negative nor positive in case of a heavy gunner. And now the gear. The most important part, probably. Your questions are most likely about Gauss Mini. What's the strongest? What does the highest damage? And we are testing that, and that would be this one. If you care about explosive factor, Furious, explosive, durability, polished, dish out the highest damage overall, assuming the target do not have any special immunity to explosion or damage reduction from explosion. For example, the Guardian is immune to explosions. It doesn't really help to add additional explosive damage to it, but regular targets, regular bosses, including the Snake, does take damage from explosive effects, so this will add damage. Why not Pentabarrel? Pentabarrel provides a two-shot, built-in two-shot effect, and two-shot is currently bugged, so it's supposed to be the best, but after testing it, it is reducing damage of our explosives instead of increasing it, therefore we don't want it. Pentabarrel reduced the damage at this moment slightly, but still, it's not a huge difference. If you are running Pentabarrel and you like it for faster bullet storm, you are not losing much on the damage department. A little bit. You can live with that if you like the look or whatever, or Pentabarrel. It's fine, but 3-barrel is where the power is, especially with explosive one. And I have a second one. This one is with pinpointers, and you may notice a singular barrel. The single barrel gives me the best range, which means I'm doing the highest damage when target is far away, including Flying Scourge Beast. And this one is with weapon speed, and what I notice in the same time, if I put 3-barrel, that increases my fire rate even higher, and my damage is not really going up, because server is losing some of the damage due to too high fire rate. Like, seems like for most adventure servers, going above 100, especially on explosive weapons, as explosive count as additional hit, even though I don't have explosive on that, there is built-in explosive, so that's like 210 hits per second. If you go higher than that, server is starting to struggle. Starting to struggle hard. Maybe on private, you could consider on adventure. I like this singular barrel on this weapon. For daily driving and ammo saving, I still like my 50 cal. It is prime using ultra sight ammo, but enemies are dropping so much that I'm always ammo positive wherever I start using 50 cal. So if I'm low on 2mm ammo, I will just use 50 cal. Reliable, no spin up at all, huge damage, and benefit quite a bit from bullet storm. Not a full stack, not enough ammo capacity, but do benefit from bullet storm. A lot of other heavy guns that you could use, but those are the ones that I'm using. Because of the bullet storm, I cannot really switch between heavy guns too much. Every time you switch, the stack starts from 0. About armor. You want power armor, and that's it. I have super tanky power armor with EGs and so on. The important part will be through hikers. Other stuff doesn't really matter. Whatever else you have, just choose power armor for the occasion. This power armor is super tank power armor. The occasion to use it is the raid, and I'm using it in the raid. It works, of course, everywhere else too, but that's mainly in the raid. My secondary power armor, if I want to fully utilize criticals and fully dish out damage in adventure, that's my nocturnal set with one piece of chameleon to give me invisibility. This will give me extra agility, extra perception, a lot of extra agility because I put agility on the second star. It's as well through hiker and full set of limit breaking. What does it mean? With full set of limit breaking, I can achieve criticals every other shot, and both case scenario I just need 15 luck or 16, because sometimes your stat page will show 15 luck, but your actual luck is 14.5. Just rounded up for the display purposes, and 14.5 is not enough. So you need 15 luck or higher to get criticals every second shot with normal power armor, every third shot with normal, and every second shot with limit breaking set. And now that we discussed everything about this build, let's see how well does it perform in combat. Should I try some super mutants so you see how that goes? Okay, let's do that, as those are like standard targets. And yes, we'll hit something tougher too, like Milo Queen, Scourge Beasts, as those receive a huge buff with this patch. So how well does it go? First, if you don't use VATS, it's already really good. Look at that. And that's the first kill before we even ram up our bullet storm or our adrenaline or anything. So getting first stacks, and you can see the damage is already insane. Look at that, a tiny burst puts down all the super mutants. Not a problem, no need to aim for a head or anything like that. They just die. If I do use VATS, I choose to use VATS for the headshots, damage is obviously even greater. They die instantaneously, almost that my AP is being regenerated incredibly fast. I have the regeneration on each kill, so it just bounce straight up after I kill one super mutant in VATS. And you can see the second one standing next to this one basically died from explosions. Look how powerful are explosions. Let's not hit the target, and it's dead. Not hit the target, and it's dead. You may say, if explosion on this gun is so good, why don't you use Grenadier? I don't want to be blinded even more, as you may notice already, like, look at this blinding effect. It's enough. With Grenadier, it's getting worse. So I don't want this blinding effect to get any worse. It's already bad, and I was able to pop myself, yes. This high explosive damage does work on yourself too if you are too close. And does do a lot. That's why my daily driver is less explosive one, the single barrel one, but I want to show you the highest damage one. So this is the one. This is the one. This is the highest damage one. The polished one with extra explosions. But let's maybe switch to a daily driver so I will not be popping myself by accident. So this is a single barrel. You can see the difference in damage self-inflicted. That's a damage self-inflicted single barrel. And for a comparison, that's a damage self-inflicted with explosive one. You can see significant difference against me. Like, enemies cannot do as much damage to me as this Gauss minigun can do if I'm too close to them. So switching to a single barrel and going after some hard targets. And in case of the legendary, you could consider conductors to have even better sustain in VATS. I'm running pinpointers, so I have a little bit less sustain in VATS. But with this extra AP on kills, look how good the VATS is, especially with this Nocturnal power armor. And look at the Scourge Beast. So with Nocturnal, I do have enough action points to take down the Scourge Beast. She just flew away from the VATS range. Now she's back. Look at that. She's done for. All those Scourge are done for. And explosions and the range. Everything perfectly fine with this Gauss mini with a single barrel. The extra accuracy, extra VATS hit chance. Everything I like. I'm actually using the single barrel one more Then the explosive one, you may guess why, I pop myself less. And my health fluctuating, that's the stat lock issue. Yeah, the stat lock health is connected to that. Now, Milo Queen. Here we should find a bunch of regular Miloks and Milo Queen, unless someone already killed them all. I don't see any Miloks. Where are you? Okay, this place was cleared. Let's see Milok at the quarry. Maybe I can find one in here. Or did some... Oh, there's regular Milok. That's a good sign. So regular Milok pops, no problem. In no time now. Is there... There she is. And to be clear, I'm using this Nocturnal not to get sneak attack bonuses. I'm using it for basically Nocturnal bonus AP. Too close, 0%. Yeah, thank you for changes to the VATs. And in the patch notes they say if you are point blank you will have 95%. Not true. Point blank you will have 0% chance to hit. This crazy hard beast is dead now, and it is really a hard beast with all those changes. 7 stacks of Bulletstorm. It will be going up slowly but surely as long as I don't switch the weapon and don't reload too much. Only reload when it's 0 ammo. And that's everything about the heavy gunner as of September 2025. Almost 7 years of Fallout 76. Let me know what you think about this heavy gunner build. Whatever you like it or hate it, just let me know so I know. And that being said, thank you a lot for watching and see you all in the next one.